7 o'clock, we'll call to order the September 12th, 2024 Danby Select Board meeting. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Abbott. Fuller.
Here.
Haines.
Present.
Powers. Bender.
Present. Would you please rise and join me in the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Danby Select Board and Planning Commission meetings are open to the public in person and remotely, but are not public meetings per se. Public attendees, both in person and remote participants who wish to comment on agenda items will be given an opportunity at the beginning of each meeting to do so. As in the past, written communications may also be sent to the boards for consideration. Business is conducted and votes cast only by board members. The chat feature is to only be used by remote participants to alert the host to technical difficulties. It is not for private conversations. To maintain order, as well as the efficiency of the meeting, the rules for public participation are: remote attendees will be muted by the online host upon joining the meeting, remaining so unless recognized to speak. Participants should arrive on time and state their name for the record. Those who desire to speak in order to comment or question should use the hand-raising function and will be given recognition in the order in which the hands were raised. Remote participants, when recognized, will unmute and clearly identify themselves by first and last name and the area of town in which they reside. Comments and questions are limited to 2 to 3 minutes. Anyone who desires to speak longer than that should arrange beforehand to be placed on the agenda. General ground rules are that speakers will not be interrupted. There will be no crosstalk between members of the audience. The speaker will treat the proceedings and other speakers with dignity and respect, and they will address issues, not personalities. I will entertain a motion to set the agenda. I understand we have an item to add, which is under the Road Commissioner's report. We will add winter sand proposals. And under old business, we will have a presentation from the Meadowy Conservation District. Is that the correct name?
Yeah. It's Pulteney Meadowy Natural Resource District, I believe is how it is. Is that right?
Yeah, Pulteney Meadowy Natural Resources Conservation District.
All right, I missed one.
Someone care to make
I'll
a
make
motion?
the motion that we set the agenda as changed.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Public comment. I remind you, this is not a continuation of the hearing that was held at the August 8th meeting.
I have a public comment, but it has nothing to do with that. It's my own.
Open to public comment.
Alright, perfect. 3 months ago, I presented to you guys a installation of a culvert. And I don't think anything's been done to it other than an excavator come down and make the road into a water slide. This is the damage that's gone down Holland Heights during the rainstorm. And I asked you guys to do something about it. And I'm getting tired about getting pushed in the corner. There's an astronomical amount of water coming into my yard. 3 months ago, I asked you guys to do something. And I bet if you go back in the minutes, there's been nothing done about it. I would please like something done. There's a lot of water and there's the evidence right there.
Did you never went up to look
They
for a
went down there with the
I
excavator.
went down there with the excavator and
Move the water.
Okay, let him answer your question.
I worked on the ditches alongside the road. And when we left, Mr. Abbott said that he was very happy with
I
what
was,
we did.
because there was not a 10-inch hole in the ground anymore. But that is where the water is. And that's where the water runs.
So Mike, I guess
And this is
my
in front-
question
that's in
is,
front of my house.
where is all this water? I mean, it didn't just appear in the last week.
No, it's been happening for a long time. And I asked
So since you've lived there, this water's been going down there.
It has been, yeah. And I've had to put a thank you ma'am in front of my driveway, and the neighbors had to put a thank you ma'am in front of their driveway, and I've cut sluice into the road beforehand to try to deter the water from coming down. It's time something the town needs to do something about.
But he did make an attempt on it and it didn't work, so now you're asking us to do more. So I guess I
Right, right.
would
So
like to
an
say that
attempt,
he
right.
did make an attempt and you
The only
said,
thing he did was fill the hole in. It did not deter any of the water.
Wait.
To make an attempt, you guys would put a ditch in or put a culvert in.
That's what you asked for, was a
A
culvert.
And there's been no means of a culvert in any minutes brought up. I'll guarantee it, if you go back 3 months, there's been no message about, let's put a culvert in.
Okay, thank you, your 3 minutes are up.
I need to go. Henry, let's go.
Kim?
I have a petition to present to the board
Yes, we're leaving.
with 103 signatures on it. And do I give it to you or read it or?
This is not a timely way to do it. Anytime a petition comes, it needs to be filed with the town clerk.
I don't believe that.
Signatures can be verified.
I don't know if I. Do you want me to, I would like to read the petition
Sure.
and then I would like to present it to the board.
Okay.
We, the undersigned legal voters of Danby, Vermont, do hereby petition the Danby Select Board to retain the current town plan, future land use map, and reject Fuller Sand and Gravel proposal to change of April 10th, 2024 to amend Danby's town plan's future land use map from agricultural, rural, residential to commercial, industrial. And I want to present it to you guys. Because I was not told about that.
We've never had to do that before.
I was told I could.
Anybody that ever presents a petition presents it to the town clerk that the signatures can be verified as legal voters. That's been going on since forever.
I presented 2 petitions here and I never did that, and you accepted them.
We may have, just like we did now, but it's of no value until the signatures are verified. So I will give this to the town clerk and she will do what she has to do with it. Ingrid?
I was gonna ask just that question, thank you.
So where does it stand with, like, the motion that's gonna be made tonight? Where does that petition stand?
So it seems like there's 103 people that are encouraging the select board to vote a certain way. Any other public comment? Ingrid?
Does that mean you're not gonna take that into consideration on your vote tonight?
I'm not going to say that we're not going to take it into consideration. but I'm,
I can tell you that there's 100 voters, registered voters on there. And there's 3 that are questioned, I couldn't find on the thing.
okay, well, that's
And
helpful.
there's 4 more we gave you just now.
Okay,
That's 107.
so 107. So there's 104 registered voters.
So thank you, that shows interest.
If it's given to
Who's speaking?
Anne Marie Hodgin,
Hi, Ann.
hi. When the paper's given to the town clerk, that's all to be checked. Do you have any idea when it would be done? How long it would take?
It's usually done quite quickly, and it's particularly important if a question is being presented to be put on a ballot.
Oh, I understand that.
This
I
is
was
a
just
bit
wondering what
different.
time, how long it would take for it to be all taken care of.
It's usually done within a couple days.
All right, good. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yes.
I find it hard that this board can consciously vote on a subject and be impartial. Abbott's have been named 3 or 4 times during the meeting. Steve, you work for the town, you work for Mr. Fuller. Bradley, your emotions were out of control last meeting, speaking, why don't we listen to what Tom has done? I just feel that this is a farce. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Cheryl?
Cheryl Mishke, Baker Brook Road. I'd like to read a statement to the people. Can I do that? I wasn't here at the last meeting.
Are you reading it to the select board?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
to the people also.
To the people gathered here this evening?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I watched the last meeting on PEG TV and was in awe at all the complaints about Tom's Quarry. Terrible smells so you can't enjoy outside. Vibrations from blasting and bedroom ceilings falling down. Dust, noise, cracks in cement, trucks in and out, property devaluations, and basically all the side effects of having a quarry approved in the center of the village. The board should have been able to make a decision after all the complaints they heard, but tabled it. There is no question that the board should not change the town plan after all they heard. But I have dealt with the Danby select boards over the years, and I fully expect there's a chance they may pass this and ignore all of you. The definition of willful negligence is negligent acts where the defendant disregards the risks of their actions and is aware or should be aware of the possible impacts. Defendants in these cases are often deliberately dismissive of another person's safety, health, or welfare. This board is already willfully negligent for permitting trucks on Baker Brook Road, so there's no reason for them to be afraid of it with this issue, except willful negligence can lead to financial devastation for a town. Boards can lose their legal immunity and town liability insurance coverage if they don't work in good faith and if they are willfully negligent. To the people who have had issues, document, 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 no matter how the board votes tonight, as they could quietly pass it later. PEG TV gives out free thumbnails of municipal meetings, and you have a right to get copies. They'll give you one free. You should be getting copies of the attendance sheets and anything connected to this issue to document. Read about legal immunity for select boards and what they must do to stay covered by it. Also, the state legislature just passed a bill this past year that covers unethical behavior by municipal boards. Cases can be submitted to a state board that reviews it. This is another option for the people to pursue together if you are ignored by this board and want to right a wrong in this village.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you for your opinion, Cheryl. Is there any other public comment? Yes.
Hi, Renata Aylward, Dutch Hill Road. I just want to say, I don't think I could do any better than what was just said, but I wanted to just reiterate what I said last time is I think there needs to be a huge consideration for the heart of Danby, which is the village. And little by little, all of these problems that people are experiencing in their home, your home is supposed to be your safe place, cracked windows, plaster falling on beds, and just smells, just a general lack of care. The village in any Vermont town is the heart of the town. And when you ruin that, you've ruined the community that has ripple effects outwards. So I would just like to echo the sentiments that were already spoken and just ask again respectfully if you would just keep the town plan as is. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Right, see that petition.
Somebody have, Dana?
I'm just wondering if the board has talked about or considered the proposal that Steve kind of made towards the end of the last meeting we had about maybe holding off till Tommy starts blasting so we can get a seismograph up there either at somewhere.
That's all part of an Act 250 hearing down the road that really is not germane to amending the map. We
And in answer
we
to
did table it, and I spent a lot of time doing research, which I will talk about when the motion comes up.
And we have not discussed anything as a board since our last meeting.
Sorry, Tommy, would you mind putting your phone down?
He's timing people
these
so
things.
that
Okay.
we
I'm
don't
sorry.
go over
Okay,
the
it was
3
just
minutes.
distracting while people were talking and it seemed like
Yeah,
you
no,
weren't
I
paying
told
attention.
Brad wanted
Okay.
the 3-minute time so that we didn't run
Thank you for
over.
clarifying, thank you. I just didn't want everyone to think that you weren't paying attention.
Any other public comment? Ingrid?
Well, after you read all your research and everything, we're allowed to comment on that? Or
No,
this?
now is your time to comment.
Okay.
Say what you need to say.
Well,
I've considered all the comments that were offered during the
okay, but you
hearing,
said you did research. I was
That's right.
considering, I was wondering what you did research on.
all of your comments.
Thank you.
Any other comments before we close the public section?
Isn't that kind of biased?
Why would it be biased? You gave us,
We gave you an opinion.
you gave us opinions,
But
you
you
gave
didn't
us
say the
quote
board
unquote
did
facts, and I
research.
researched them. How can that be biased?
Well,
That's what
Steve
I'm
just-
charged with doing. That's what I have to do homework.
Steve just said no one has discussed anything, so.
No
what
one
you-
has discussed anything as a
What you're going to be
board.
saying is strictly your opinion.
Strictly what my research has revealed and my opinion, yes.
Thank you.
Any others?
Brad, so when you present new information like that, how do we have a discussion about it if you bring new information to the public?
The time to discuss happened
But you're bringing new
a month
information,
ago.
right?
You gave me things that you felt the select board needed to research and address.
Yes.
I did my job.
Okay.
I did my homework.
And today you're gonna talk about that.
Correct.
Specific research. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe there'd be discussion about it. You bring new information to the
I'm not
public.
bringing new information.
You're not.
And if you question any of my facts, I will talk to you after the meeting and tell you where you can find the answers. And I have some copies of things like property transfers and so forth that people talked about. Dana?
And I'm just trying to understand small town politics. Bear with me a little bit. So, is it common not to discuss things that were brought up in previous meetings among yourselves?
Yeah, it's against the law.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't, that's why I'm at, I'm trying to do it. I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you guys cannot talk about anything prior to.
We can talk about it one-on-one, but we can't, have like a majority of the board gathered and talking about
Okay,
something.
so that makes a little bit more sense. So you guys can talk about it among yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's not this. That's why I'm just saying, and because that comment didn't make a lot of sense to me, that you couldn't talk about something that was kind of important to the town politics, any town politics among yourselves. Didn't make sense, so thank you for clarifying that.
Any more?
Oh, and that has, would like to speak?
Yes.
Okay, Annette, you can go ahead.
This is Annette Smith from the north end of town. I would like to put on the record that I am very concerned and do not support this board's decision to only allow the public to engage on any issue when you're continuing with your meeting and limiting our input to public comment. It feels very unfriendly. It doesn't feel community-minded. I've watched many, many, many town board meetings all over Vermont, and I can't think of a single one that operates this way. So I feel as though you stifling the input of the public on any issue is not in the best interest of our town.
Thank you for your opinion. I completely disagree with it. You're given an opportunity to present what facts you have for us to consider.
Excuse me, but I don't really think you should say you completely disagree with us.
I do. I have a right to agree or disagree with anybody.
You're supposed to be professional, not arrogant.
Well, you're pushing me toward it, Ingrid. Is there any other public comment? Okay, we'll close that part of the meeting. And the next motion is to adopt the minutes of the select board meeting of August 8th and 15th. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion is made and seconded. Are there any corrections or changes to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are adopted. Treasurer's report.
All I have to report at this time is tax bills will be out at the end of next week. So, I'm really excited.
Thanks for the good news.
Thank you, Michelle. I have received a letter from Mike Powers that says, due to increased hours at my job and becoming president of my local in the union, I no longer have the time available to serve on the select board. I resign effective immediately. Michael Powers, and this is dated the 4th of September, 2024. Is there a motion to accept the resignation of Michael Powers?
I'll make it.
Then I'll second it.
Motion's made and seconded. I don't believe there's really any discussion on it unless somebody has something that I'm not aware
Well, I
of.
think as a board, we should thank him for the service
Absolutely.
that he did put in.
And I did thank him in writing after I received this.
He brought a lot to the board.
He did.
Yeah.
And stuff, and
Yep, and he was definitely helpful for the road crew, but
yeah.
unfortunately, we can't force him to stay.
All those in favor of accepting the motion to, all those in favor of accepting the resignation of Michael Powers, please say aye.
Aye.
So, now the second part of that question is, how do you wish to proceed? The law says that we need to make a replacement for him, to appoint a replacement for him forthwith. It does not give a specific guideline, but as far as the question, let's just let it go until town meeting, that's not acceptable.
So you're saying we should appoint somebody for next meeting?
We need,
That's an option that's open, but, we have to show good faith that we are proceeding.
We need to warn it, post it, that we're taking letters of intent. And then we go through the letters of intent and appoint somebody.
Okay, so you'd like to receive letters of intent a few days before the October meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
What is left on his term?
It doesn't
only
matter
till
what's
March.
left.
That's all, yeah.
The appointment only carries to
And
town.
actually, I believe he
meeting.
is up this election anyway, so they would be running for a full seat at that point. I believe, I'm not
So
100%.
just until March.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I would say that we should appoint somebody next meeting. Do we need a motion on that, or we just?
No, it's just a procedural thing that I wanted to be very transparent about.
And you address the letters to the town?
Ingrid, you are out of order.
Okay, sorry.
Letters of intent. Okay, thank you. Okay, any other discussion about the letters?
I don't think they need to be anything other than a
Right.
letter saying they intend it.
Exactly, with
Yep.
their qualifications. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to remove from the table the land use designation change tabled at the meeting of August 8th, 2024.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Abstaining on that.
And abstentions?
Me.
Motion is removed from the table. I will entertain a motion to adopt a resolution to amend the land use districts shown in the 2020 Danby Town Plan to expand the land use commercial/industrial district depicted on the draft land use map dated 8/8/24 by increasing the tract shown west of South Main Street by 11.87 acres. And that is shown on the map right there beside Dana. And for the purpose of the camera, Dana, would you be kind enough to point to that bright pink area right there? Mm-hmm.
This one or that one?
No, that one. That's what we're discussing. Okay, is there someone willing to make that motion?
I guess I will make that motion.
Motion is made by Abbott. Is there a second?
I'll second it so we can discuss it.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. So I would like to open the discussion by telling you what I have found. We have 928 registered voters in town. I have reviewed and considered the comments of the 20 voters who voiced comment at the hearing to amend the land use map. I also took into consideration the number who remained silent who attended the meeting. Of the 20 who spoke, 12 asked questions and answers were given. 6 were opposed to changing the map due to concerns about blasting to extract stone. 3 speakers voiced their displeasure with the existing asphalt plant's tar and propane fumes, which was not relevant to the map change. The propane leak was a one-time event that was immediately fixed. Most of the conversation about blasting centered on where seismographs were set and how the results were read. I personally cannot conceive of Maine Blasting, the company who did the work for Boston's Big Dig, jeopardizing their license by either incorrectly monitoring their blasts or misinterpreting the results. There was also false information brought forth that Select Board member Kenneth Abbott Jr. owns an abutting quarry. His father does, but it's a sand pit, not a quarry, and I understand that the sand has been largely extracted. Ken Abbott Jr. has no legal interest in that real estate. During the course of the hearing, Tom Fuller stated that the asphalt plant was not moving or going out of business. If material cannot be extracted on site, then it will be trucked in. My personal opinion, as the only contiguous landowner who was present at the hearing, is that I can more easily live with a half dozen or so 2-second blasts a year than I can with increased truck traffic, which rattles my house, increases dust, and pollutes the air that I breathe with diesel fumes. I will also address the point of real estate values. Fuller Sand and Gravel has been operating the quarry for the better part of a quarter of a century at this time. Real estate values soared in the village center to astronomical heights during the last 10 years and are now beginning to decline at the same rate as values throughout the state. One house on South Main Street doubled in value, and the sellers had it for only 2 years, purchasing it on October 24th, 2018 for $200,000 and selling it on March 11th, 2022 for $395,000 without making any renovations. Several other properties saw similar handsome increases in value. 34B South Main Street, which was purchased for $76,750 on May 13th, 2015, and sold on April 12th, 2022 for $139,300. Most notable was 34 South Main Street, purchased for $50,000 and sold for $855,700. The limestone has been here for millions of years. Quarrying the stone in the brook began in the 1830s and provided the stone not only for this building, but most of the foundations for the houses in the villages, as well as being sawn into blocks in the stone sawmill whose foundation still stands on my land. The water-powered saw cut blocks of marble brought down Easy Street from the quarries, creating noise and dust. It also created work and wealth, and the laborers lived in houses up and down the road. There was also a blacksmith shop. As my grandson keenly observed at the age of 4, "You know, Papa, this is all one big rock." There were 13 mills and a tannery up and down the brook. The Planning Commission could well consider expanding the map farther up Brook Road and encouraging hydroelectric power operations as they historically existed. The Select Board is not here to be an administrator of the Act 250 process, only to endorse or oppose what is recommended to us by the Planning Commission. Thank you.
It's about the town plan.
Your public comment time was earlier.
I was outside the door.
Well, why didn't you?
Now there are seats.
I'm sorry, Barbara. That's how
Brad.
it works.
Brad,
You're out of water.
I'm not.
If you knew what was going on, you should have come in.
I came in when there was a chair Brad.
Well, there were other people sent. Barbara, I'm not going to argue. It's board time.
Well, I would like to present this, if I can't speak. It is about what the town select board is supposed to do for the people in the town when they make their decisions.
Well, I wish you had
It's
presented
pages-
it in the proper fashion.
Well,
You could have sent it to us earlier, or you could have spoken at
But
the
it is in the
proper time.
town plan, everybody. It's on page 59
Okay,
and
Barbara,
60.
you're out of order.
Well, you had a very long story.
It's board time now, not public
Drea.
time.
Drea,
So sorry.
is that thing off?
Oh, yeah.
You've been told.
Wow.
Last meals have been on.
Discussion?
Hold on.
Not, well, that thing's shut off, no.
Oh, it's shut off?
I don't know why. I don't know if she hit it.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Okay. Let me make sure that's reconnected. Sorry. Thank you, Steve.
So I would like, before we approve it, I'd like to see Tom put a seismograph on Easy Street and try a test blast. Just because there's enough people, I think, that have concerns. Yes, I feel they should take it to the Act 250 and not us, but,
And I think that's where it gets addressed.
well, that's my opinion. I'd like to see Tom do a test first.
Any other discussion?
What, I mean, I do agree with that. But that's also, we're only changing the land use.
Correct.
And it's up to Act 250 to.
Which is correct.
Right.
This is a fight that should be taken to the Act 250 board, not us, but I would like to see a test done. Because Tom has said that by blasting the direction he wants to go, it should be less. And I wholeheartedly support it if it's going to be less, and quite honestly, I don't want to say no to it, but I do think that people have concerns that they would like to be addressed.
And you don't think that the environmental board is,
I think it would be better if you didn't comment.
Tom, I think that they'll do what they're supposed to do. But I also see a lot of people in here that would like something.
My response to that is that we are only acting on an amendment to the map. We are not the Act 250 board. We are not granting him permission to do anything with that land.
And I think that's the problem that we're dealing with, is we're only changing the use of the land, not for what it's being used for.
Correct.
I understand the public comment and the concerns that have been brought here. But those answers and questions need to be asked in a Act 250 permit and not by us.
Correct. And there are a lot of overlapping issues here. As I outlined, all we're doing is acting on changing, amending the map. We're not addressing any of the other issues. There's a time and a place for that. If someone feels that Mr. Fuller is violating his permit, then they need to take that to the proper authorities. It's not our job. Any other discussion?
Oh, we're not loud.
Okay. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Abbott,
Yes.
Haines,
No.
Bender,
Yes.
and then Fuller.
Abstaining.
Okay, so we have 2 yes, 1 no,
One abstain.
and an abstention. I believe the motion carries, but I will get a confirmation on that tomorrow. Okay, next we have the road commissioner's report.
And let's start off with the winter sand bids. We have 3 prices. Pike Industries.
Kim, would you close the door as you go out, please? The outside door.
Yes.
Is $9.15 a ton. Peckham Industries was $15 a ton, and Wallingford crushed stone was $12.90 a ton. Now, Steve and I had talked that he did want a little bit of the white sand.
Yeah, I'd like to mix it with the salt to put on the blacktop when we,
But I think we should go with
with Pike.
Pike for
Yes.
the large amount. Okay. I mean, I don't think we need a motion
Dana, would
on
you
it.
close the outside door, please?
But Brad can sign that when he's got a minute.
Well, if there's, could you close that door then, please? So I'll sign it after there's a motion to.
I'll make the motion, we
Oh, yeah.
buy the majority of our sand from Pike Industries.
I'll second it.
Did you get the wording on that, Drea?
Yeah, motion to buy majority of winter sand from Pike Industries.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, and as we started last month, Steve gives us a lot of notes for his day-to-day stuff, him and Larry, so that we have a, and I started going through most of them. There was beaver dam removal as a highlight. We did clean up the tree for the agreement with Sean Towsley on that tall pine that was in his yard that he paid for to take down. We just cleaned it up for him. The ditching on Calvin Hill, did you get that to your liking?
We've got it far enough to where we can move on to the next project.
Okay.
I would like to go back and finish it from the Pent Road down, but if we don't get there this fall, we've got the major washout taken care of.
We did do grading. I mean, it's tough to open up the roads when they're dry, so it was limited. All the roads are, few potholes that are sneaking up that I'd like to see us get on here when the weather, right now it's getting drier and drier instead of wetter and wetter like it should. The days are getting shorter, but hopefully the roads, we can get them, our fall grading started here soon. We did, looks like they had a couple days of brushing and tree removal. Green Hill, Parish Hill, you did some? On the 24th?
Oh, that was the day that we had Elisha and we took those big
Oh,
trees
okay.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. They worked on the trucks a little bit, and is there any highlights I missed that you want to bring up, Steve?
Just that we're on the west side now. We replaced a culvert on Lily Hill last week and did some ditching on there. I'm ditching on Kelly Hill now while Larry's been grading.
I guess question everyone probably wants to hear is answered is, are we going to be able to, well, he's grading, get a few days in mowing?
Well, that all depends. Which is a higher priority, that I continue working on ditches that are eroding the roads, hauling sand, or?
I want you to do both.
Wow. Do you have a cloning machine? I'd like about 4 of me, and then we can start getting caught up.
Well, what I was wondering maybe, or thinking, is we should try to hit some of the more highly passed areas.
Particularly where stop signs are located.
I know that's a lot of fun to go around and,
If that is what the board wants, that's what we'll do. I will just.
well, I'm just thinking if you pick a day when Larry's grading, just.
Larry was grading today and I was ditching.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hard part, is we're trying to, where I was today on Kelly Hill, Larry said the last time it was ditched was the year before he started. That your father and Charlie Bush did it. And I've removed.
They did a good job then.
They did a real good job, yeah. I mean, I've only taken out 8 load today. Between today and yesterday's, I got 8 load out so far. And I'm not a third of the way up the hill yet. But I will do my best, Tom.
All right.
Thanks, Steve.
And then we were gonna move on to, because I'm done, but I had one other thing that I'm gonna bring up under old business.
One of my questions, you triggered a thought when you mentioned potholes. The water system gate valves on the lower part of Danby Hill Road here, where it takes off from Brook Road, were exposed, and now I see one of them has been blacktopped over. Why was a riser not put on there and then blacktopped around it?
I think because the covers wouldn't come out like we had down there. We end up smashing them the covers haven't been removed and exercised in so many years that the
Well,
one down.
that was why they dug that up.
The reason that there was no riser put on there is because I didn't know there was a valve there.
Oh, wait, is this
because Jody asked me if we could fill it when I got the load of hot mix to do the ones on Timoth Line.
Oh, okay, this
is the one right by his house?
Yeah, right by Jody's house. I didn't know there was a water valve in there. There was nothing that we could see. I shoveled 8 shovelfuls in there and Larry raked it around.
Okay,
And
so this is something recent. I thought you were asking because those others, like down in the village, I mean,
No, that one I know about.
No,
but,
that's my fault because I
you
didn't know there was a
have-
valve there.
We have a $2.5 million water system that was put in 25 years ago, and we're obliterating the proper maintenance on it by just
Covering the
paving
valve, not-
over these
yeah.
things. And then when an emergency comes, we
Well,
can't shut it off in certain places.
biggest
and we have
problem-
to shut down a larger area than we need to.
I found, Brad, is we have to have spare covers to start that project because they are so sealed in from not being exercised in so many years that you cannot actually get the covers to come out.
I know
They have
that
to be
part.
smashed.
I know that
And
part.
so the problem is that a fire district issue or a town issue?
Well, the town put the
Yeah, but
pavement
the thing
over
is,
the fire
is the
districts.
town supposed to pay to do, fix, it is in their road. And I'm saying, the thing is though, someone's gotta smash the.
So the solution here is the town needs to send the water district a bill for the hole that was put in my blacktop.
I don't know who put the hole there, but I noticed that both of those valves.
So that
were
was just on your
exposed
recent potholes.
some time ago.
We patched the hole right in front of Jody's house. I assume that's the one Brad's talking about.
Well,
Because
it's
Jody
easy-
asked me if
it's
I
easy
patch it,
enough-
so.
It's easy enough found.
Oh, yeah. But
Well, it should be because.
in the future, please put risers on when paving is done.
Well, the thing is, like I said, the fire
The
district.
fire district will provide them. I think there are risers up in the control building. But
Yeah, but we need covers too. We don't have
yeah,
covers.
covers.
We have covers?
Well, once, yeah.
No, see, I'm saying the
It's
covers have to be
that.
smashed.
And that, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so any other road business?
I have nothing.
Then we'll move on to old business, and we have the Pulteney Meadowy Natural Resource District.
So I don't think I've ever been here at a select board meeting when there hasn't been something controversial happening. So I think it's my fault, but.
You picked the good ones.
Oh, it's your fault.
I wanted to give you two quick updates, and then just one quick conversation. So you probably remember, I actually haven't been here in a while, so it's good to be back. But I was working on the Flower Brook project, which is
The west
part-
side, yep.
that part of the town. And we had been working, especially right after Tropical Storm Irene, looking at why so much sediment was ending up in Pollitt, and we had done some assessments and not really gotten great answers. And we took a break for a little while and we're implementing projects, but we hired somebody else, a different contractor, to come and look at those upper reaches of Flower Brook, Purchase Brook, and Beaver Brook, and try and give us a better sense of like why so much gravel is mobilizing down through Flower Brook and into the village of Pollitt. And I think we got a little better sense of what's happening. So it sounds like because a lot of that soil and snow and gravel was dropped through glaciation, that the particle size is actually pretty small. So when I was driving here, I was admiring all the giant boulders in the brook, Millbrook. But Flower Brook has a ton of small gravel, sand, and silt running down through it. And it's got a lot of bed erosion, so the stream is sinking deeper into the environment. And it has a lot of bank erosion, and it has a lot of places where it hits the valley wall, and then we get these big mass failures or sort of like little landslides. So it seems that the brook is sort of causing it's generating its own sediment, and then as we get thunderstorms, that sediment is moving down, and then the slope of the stream is less in Pollitt, so it sort of deposits as soon as it gets out of the woods, basically, behind the town garage and down into Pollitt Village. So I don't think we got a lot of great solutions in terms of what to do. I think this has been happening probably, the deforestation over the colonial years contributed to some of this. So as the forests are growing back now in the headwaters, as trees fall in the brook, trying to leave them there, trying to leave woody debris, that will help stop the gravel, at least temporarily. And if trees kind of continuously fall in, we can try and stop that gravel behind the trees. It'll raise the bed level up again. It'll increase the ability of the stream sort of up in the headwaters to flood a little bit more into their old floodplains where we don't have conflicts with roads and homes, because we don't want that. So those are sort of the best solutions that are coming out of this study. I don't know how if you guys are like, oh great, another person saying leave the trees in the creek. But we're hoping that over time, the continual addition of that woody debris will help to build up that stream bed again, so it's not as deep in the banks as it is now. That's that. And then the Green Hill Road, Purchase Brook Bridge, I know not super excited about that. I'm assuming it was the price tag on that, and that whether or not you had to contribute, it felt expensive. I'm assuming, I guess I shouldn't assume, I should ask you. But I just wanted to say, if you ever are interested in me trying to look for funds to build that bridge, I know that Green Farm's for sale now, a lot of money, but it could end up, I don't know if it'll end up subdivided or what'll happen with it. But it seems like there could be more pressure for development up in that area. So I just wanted to put out, if you're ever interested, I did pretty well with the couple bridges we put in Dorset. in the hollow there in terms of not having the town have to contribute very much, and the things that they contributed tended to be things they wanted to contribute, things that they were already on their list, or that helped them out, or that they could do really easily, you know, with the town road crew or whatever.
One issue we're dealing with over there is that the pool on the lower side of that large culvert is our only water source over there for the fire department.
Yes, okay, and Maggie did mention that you had said that at the meeting.
That's a very important water source. If we put a bridge in, we're gonna lose that. We put a bridge in on, what was our expensive bridge for the one house?
Oh, over in Green, or over on,
Parker Road.
Parker Road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we lost the dry hydrant there.
Yeah, we lost our water source there when the bridge was put in.
Is that something that if I could address, you might think about, or is that just one of many issues that make it so this project is not one of your favorites?
Well, the thing is, the last time anyone approached us on this was probably, well, I guess when, I don't want to say the last time, and we had agreed that if they could find the funding for the bridge, we were good with it.
Oh, okay.
And
With the idea that we had to have water for the fire department.
Oh, okay.
Because-
That's what Michael, that's what you and Michael came up with?
yeah, but,
Okay.
so what I'm saying is, we left it in
Okay.
your guys' hands 2
Okay.
years ago.
Yeah, I believe it was 2 years
That may
ago.
not have been exactly how it was.
And said, if you can come back and fully fund a bridge, we will support it. But the town has another bridge that it's having to do right now, which we're not sure how we can afford that one.
Is it-
So, this is right up here.
Is it one that has fish passage issues, or is it already, is it a culvert, or is it already?
No, it's already a
bridge.
bridge.
So there's fish
It's
passage.
right on the Brook Road and
Yeah.
it's,
And we have 7 others there. So if one is gone and they were all put in at the same time, that's,
So that would bring me to part 3, which is that there's a new funding source available, and the district and the Rutland Regional Planning Commission are managing the funds for the other this watershed that I'm talking
you
about.
applied for them, correct?
I applied for whatever Maggie brought,
Yeah,
but we applied for the bridge up here.
okay, that's okay. It's a different, that's FEMA. So this is from the Vermont Clean Water Fund, and the Otter Creek watershed, which is the watershed you're talking about for this bridge, is Addison County RPC is managing those funds. So we're looking at phosphorus reduction projects. There's quite a bit of funding. We're having trouble spending it. It's all for voluntary projects. So if this was managed under like the municipal roads general permit, it wouldn't qualify. We couldn't help fund it. But it's all for phosphorus credits. So when you look at the formula, you take a bridge that's undersized and you make it the right size, there would be a phosphorus credit. So that fund might be able to pay for some of it and just help fill a gap. And that would be Mike Winslow at the Addison County RPC, and that could come talk to somebody about that in more depth if that's helpful information at all. But anyhow, there is this fund, there's a lot of money in it, it's all for phosphorus reduction projects. Voluntary, so non-regulatory, not required by a permit. And if you have any questions about something that you're working on that feels like you can't get enough funding for, that could reduce sediment or nutrients going to surface waters, this funding could help. Forest roads projects, shoreline projects along lakes, traditional stormwater projects, stormwater type projects on farms, but not agricultural projects on farms, are all things that could be funded through this. So like old logging roads that are 5 years past an active logging site, the water bars are being overtopped and a bunch of sediments getting into the stream and somebody can't afford to fix up their logging roads. Like there's quite a bit of flexibility in the funding, and it comes with maintenance funds. So this is the first time we've ever had the ability to maintain projects afterward. Normally we do a project and then it gets all weedy and messy and nobody maintains it. So that's one advantage of these funds also. But if you're ever just curious, feel free to reach out. I can come take a look. I could let you know. We just need a amount of phosphorus that's reduced, and I can tie that to a dollar amount and say, hey, we could come up with X number of dollars for that project. We would help you write, we could manage it even, we could write the application, whatever. But we're having trouble spending it, so it's available. So those are my 3 quick updates. Sorry that I,
No, sorry for
Confused about
putting you
the
so
date.
far back in the list.
Oh,
It would have
it
been
was-
nice that you could have gotten on the front side of it, but.
that's okay. I can see that people had, things to say, so.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Oh, and are you typing all this? I did bring you a copy. Oh, no,
Yeah.
okay. I'll take it for you, give me a I can send it to you too if you want. You do not need to use all that. I just thought that way you can pull from it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much and good luck with the rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
Good night.
I'll see you soon.
That's what, yeah.
In the ARPA. I guess, under old business, I guess you gotta bring it up, or you gotta say, we're on,
Are we done with old business, or is there?
no, this will be old, but I didn't wanna
Okay.
jump in without you saying, is there any more old business?
Well, there are.
As far as our ARPA money that we're trying to get spent,
That we need to get spent.
that we need to get spent, we have $130,000 left of it.
$130,420.
Why don't we go ahead and buy part of our truck that we just bought with that money? And that way we can take and refund our equipment fund, and then we're in no hurry to spend it. So basically, we take it out of one pocket and put it in the other that isn't gonna expire in December.
And that still leaves us.
That would give us $130,000 in our zero balance equipment fund,
Yeah.
because we spent that to zero. And then we have more time where we don't have to.
Yeah. I do have some figures we talked about, contributing to the tower cost. I do
Right.
have those figures with me tonight too. We have $23,365.45 on the invoices for the tower installation and implication of it. We have paid $59.13 previously, but the balance is $23,365.
In our radios on that now.
Did the radios get installed?
Not yet.
I talked to Mark today. He said they should be in his possession tomorrow, but he's waiting on a
Tax exempt form.
He has not gotten that yet.
I saw an email from the clerk that he was asking for one. I assumed that the
Yes.
clerk was handling that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just quick, simple.
Yeah, he has not received that yet.
And who's that? Who wants that?
Capital Digitonics.
Okay.
Um,
So should we, allocate
some funds towards.
some funds toward that?
Well, I guess back again, our repeater, or we're using that tower as well, correct?
Yes.
Meaning the town and the fire department.
Yep.
So, now, does rescue use that, or they don't need that?
They have their own repeater, which they're going to hopefully move to up to the corner station off of Burrs. That's something we're working with them about. They have their.
Now, why do they want to go up there when we came down from there?
No, they're at Burrs now.
Oh, and they're
And
coming
they're
down.
They're coming down to the town.
So, rescue, municipal, and fire are all using this tower.
Yep.
Are they using the same tower as us, or are they using the telephone pole?
I believe they're gonna be on the same tower.
Okay.
I believe the state is gonna be on the pole. Our incoming state. Unless they're working on how close the numbers are for transmission numbers.
Oh, they'll start cutting into each other if you're right.
They gotta
the
be
same.
within so many numbers apart.
Yeah.
And if they're far enough apart, everybody can be on that tower. If that turns out there's gonna be a flag put on the telephone pole, it might already be up, I don't know. But
No, that's the state of Vermont, you're saying? What were you saying the state is using?
Ken was saying that the state was going to be tying in up to the firehouse too. And
Meaning?
we had a telephone pole up here that is now buried up to the firehouse so they could put a second antenna up if they need it. That was what I was asking about.
But it's on the town property?
Yes,
Okay.
it's right behind the fire department.
yeah, it's right off the north corner, or northwest corner of the fire station.
I guess the question is, how much was the fire department looking for us to, half of it, or?
Any half would be nice, whatever you guys are thinking, or, you know.
What are you thinking, Brad?
I'm thinking, $25,000,
They only
That's-
need 23.
but they already spent 2,915.
Okay. Okay.
So 23, 25,
What
somewhere
are you
in there.
thinking, Steve?
I'm fine with that.
I'm good with that too. Yeah.
That would be greatly appreciated, and.
Well, the fire department's greatly appreciated.
Well, the fire department.
And the
I mean,
municipal,
and
you know,
its
us having
rescue.
contact and
Yeah.
rescue. Yeah, no, I'm,
One good thing about this too is that we had a call over on Danby Mountain Road, I don't know, a week or so ago. And I was leaving my house, and John Niles was in Pollock. I was using the repeater, he could hear me in Pollock.
Good.
So it is definitely pushing the other side of the hill.
Excellent.
nice.
So we really haven't had a chance to drive around and see where it's increased, but.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah. I guess I have one other thing under old business.
So let's make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you want to make a motion to
I'll make a motion that
reimburse
we,
the fire department?
that we
25?
put $25,000 of our ARPA money into the tower project for the fire department. So reimbursing them what they have put in and paying the rest of the 23,000, whatever and change that Kenny said.
And then,
We take the remainder and put it into our transportation, or our, what do we
Truck.
call our equipment fund?
well, we're gonna pay.
Oh, we're gonna
part
pay
of
for
the
our truck with it. Yeah,
Okay.
and that ends our ARPA money. What's that?
And use the remaining funds.
For paying for our new truck
Okay.
and getting me a four-wheeler.
Okay, so that motion was by Fuller. Was it seconded yet?
I'll second it as long as you take his four-wheeler off of it.
I did not do that.
And would you read it back to us so we're clear on it?
So motion to reimburse the fire department for the tower project with $25,000 from ARPA funds and use the remaining funds from ARPA for the new truck payment.
Yes.
So motion's been made. Is there a second?
Yeah, I already seconded it.
You did?
She
Wow.
just had to take the four-wheeler
Okay.
off.
It was never in there.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So, that's the end
I
of
gotta give that
ARPA
to Steve.
funds. Now, is there any new business?
Oh, the town of Mount Tabor is now interested again, I don't know if they were ever interested before, in doing a deal with us on the dump. Just thought that we would, it was brought to me, so I wanted to make sure I brought it to the,
They can have it. I'll bring my roll-off truck down, move the dumpsters down there tomorrow.
and it isn't something that we need to make even discuss. I just wanted to bring it up in the meeting that they approached and said that they are interested. I think the thing is they are interested of walking away from having to run theirs anymore. And they want us to take over and them pay us a fee.
They want us to do it here?
No, down there. So that is open again for discussion and options. I didn't want to go far into it, but I thought we should at least bring it to the board's attention that they are looking now. I think it was us looking before when they weren't interested.
Right.
And you were on that committee, right?
Yeah.
So was Brad.
So was I. So shall we slate this for the October
Yeah, I
agenda?
mean, I think
And
it's
in the
worth-
meantime,
I think
will
it's
you
worth-
ask them to give us a firm proposal
Yeah.
about what
No, I mean,
they're
it's worth
talking
discussing.
about?
It's worth discussing. It definitely is worth discussing.
And lastly, on the meaning the dump stuff, and it's this thing is, and I always pronounce her name wrong, Sandy Pizzanault, is asking to just set up out here on a Saturday coming up in the next couple weeks, just to say hi to anybody going to the dump and basically,
Yeah,
to
we don't
introduce herself
need-
and answer.
We don't need to give permission for
No,
it.
we
It's
don't
just
need
like
to.
they stand out there on election day.
Yeah, but
But it is nice that she's reached out to ask.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she did reach out to ask, and I said exactly what you said. We don't need to give you permission. We actually appreciate
Right.
somebody reaching out to people to actually answer questions and talk to the residents, which is long overdue. So I just wanted to make the board aware of that that came to me as well. That's under my last of stuff I've got to talk about.
Okay, any
I'll make
other?
the motion we adjourn.
Well, I guess there's no
Oh,
new
we
business.
ain't even got time to.
Oh, there's not a second yet, so.
Any other new business? I don't hear any, so you're on, Steve.
The motion we adjourn again.
Is there a
All right.
second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we are adjourned at 8:13.